Hi everyone! Today I want to talk to you about what it's like working at a roller rink. The way I got hired was pretty sweet. There was a roller rink nearby my house and I really wanted to learn how to skate, so I would go there day after day and I turned into a regular. One day, one of the owners saw my face and saw that I was always there smiling and the guests recognized me, and she goes, "You know what? You are here all the time and you always have a smile on your face, so how would you like to represent us and work here?" And to that, I was a little bit hesitant at first, but I of course said yes, and the rest is history. I was really nervous to start working at a roller rink because honestly, at that point, I did not really know how to skate forwards. I could barely stand up. And so I wasn't really sure how I was gonna work there because part of the job was to have your skates on for the duration of your shift. Luckily, I did learn on the job and I learned fast. My hiring process was pretty simple. They kind of picked me out of the crowd and said, "Hey, you work here." Which, that might not always happen, but it could. I did have to fill out some paperwork, but it was very easy overall. Now, as far as the hours that I worked, I believe that this particular rink was only opened on weekends. I was working as an elementary school teacher, and I wasn't about to sacrifice my free nights to work at a roller rink. But I did sacrifice my weekends, which was a very big sacrifice. Looking back, that was a lot of working hours that I spent every week. I never had a day off. I was working Monday through Friday at the school and then Saturday and Sunday at the rink. I was working 7 days a week, and I would not recommend you do this unless you are super passionate about skating, which I was. Typically, I would work on a Friday night, Saturday for most of the day, and Sunday afternoons. I remember Friday nights. That night was crazy. There were teens and adults, so many different types of people there, and people were so excited to get hyped up and just dance around on the rink. Of course, one of the downfalls of a lot of adults and teens being in one space very amped up, very revved up, is sometimes we did have situations where people had to be kicked out of the rink for starting a fight or just starting drama that we did not want to associate with. On a typical Saturday, I would leave my house around noon and get back home around 10:30, 11 at night. I would leave my house around noon to get to the roller rink around 12:15. Now, when I was feeling like it, I would also head over next door to the snow cone place, which it was so cool that that place was there. There was also a pizza place and a bunch of shops that were very convenient for me, so it was a good spot. My Saturday shift would start around 1 p.m. That's when guests would start trickling in, and my role was typically to be the floor guard, which is the person who is in the middle of the skating rink and is sort of keeping an eye out, seeing if people fall, if anyone needs help, making sure that people aren't being too crazy sitting on the walls, making sure that kids aren't cutting through the rink and tripping people. Another role that I did a lot was working at the skate counter, which is where you would give the guests their roller skates in exchange for their shoes. So those are the only two roles that I had while working there, either the skate counter or being directly on the rink as a floor guard. Now, a few other roles are working in the cafe or working in the main office at the register. I never ended up being trained to do the cafe or the register, and I was fine with that because I was happy with putting my skates on and being out there for my whole shift. Next, I want to dive a little bit deeper into some of the perks at working at a roller rink. The number one perk, which I mentioned earlier in the video, is that I learned how to skate so quickly. The learning curve is just zoop. So I was forced to learn how to skate, otherwise I would not be able to survive on the job. And being forced to learn how to skate is fine by me. So if you really want to learn how to roller skate and you're a beginner and you're in that baby deer stage, then just work at a rink and you'll pick it up pretty fast. The second perk to working at a roller rink is having free rink access. Oh my goodness, when I tell you the amount of money I saved after being an employee at this rink versus when I would go there 24/7 to practice, I could go there whenever I want and never had to pay a dime. I would have the rink all to myself before my shift and after my shift if I wanted to practice or just goof around on the rink. The next perk is having complete access to the DJ booth. Now, typically when you go to a roller rink, there is a way to request music. And at this one that I worked at, you could request songs. However, the person in the booth was able to veto those choices. And oftentimes I would go in there and just put on my favorite Rihanna song or something I wanted to hear, and there's nothing anyone could do about it. Unfortunately, we did not have adult nights, at least not while I was there, so I was not able to play explicit music. I always had to keep in mind families and young children who were there when thinking about what music I would allow people to request. The next perk of working at a skating rink is that I had free access to skate lessons. The managers here are so talented. They are pros. They do roller derby. They are speed skaters, rhythm skaters, jam skaters, and it is just so awesome that I got to learn from them for free. I was so privileged to have been able to do that. Now let's get into some of the downfalls of working at this roller rink I was at. Like I mentioned before, they were not any adult nights, which was a little bit unfortunate, especially because we could not play explicit songs, and that really restricted some of the really fun music we could be listening to and jamming to out there on the floor. The second downfall was having to ask kids to leave who were being too rowdy or who would try to sneak in things that I won't mention here. But it was definitely stressful to have to kick people out because although it didn't happen often, in the rare instances, it really sucked. The next downfall of working at this rink is that being part of the cleanup crew is just part of the deal. We did not have a janitorial staff. We had to make sure that the rink was clean at all times. We would sweep the floors, we would sweep the rink, make sure that cups were trashed, make sure the cafe was clean. We had to take out the trash, and I remember on several instances carrying huge trash bags over my shoulder and Slurpee and slushy juice just dripping down onto my leg, and it was very gross at times, but it was part of the job and we all knew and accepted it. We worked together quickly to get that job done so that we could roll out of there at the end of the night. Next, I want to talk about the absolute worst part of all of working at a skating rink, and that is when guests get injured. No matter what level skater you are, it's possible that you could get badly injured, and that's just a risk that you're willing to take when you enter into a roller rink. And there were many times that I was very scared, and it's just not fun at all to see someone get hurt. So that's one thing that I really did not like about the job. My absolute favorite part of working at a roller rink is the friendships that I made, the people who are working there with me. At the time, I was so lucky to have made friends with the other staff members. And it's been a few years and we're still close friends, and I think those bonds and friendships will last for many years to come. Now, would I work at a roller rink again? Probably not. But I had so much fun while it lasted. I did end up quitting working at the rink mainly because I wanted to pursue my career path of music therapy, and me focusing on skating as a job was getting in the way of that. So of course I still do it as a hobby. If you have a roller rink near you and you're interested in working there, I highly recommend you try it out, especially if you are a beginner and wanting to learn how to roller skate, and to learn quickly. Please like this video if you learned something from me today, And don't forget to subscribe for more videos to come. I'll see you in the next one.